All right, happy Monday or not, whatever. Here we go. So we're doing systems of equations again. This is by elimination. And when I say elimination, we're going to first eliminate the y. I like eliminating the y because the x comes first, followed by the y in your coordinate point. And this way it helps you to keep those two straight. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is, that's right, put the parentheses around both sets of the equation. We're going to take our first number, our first y, and keep it the same and put it to the bottom. And then we're going to change it. Leave change. So since it's what looks like a -6, we're going to put it as a +6. That's going to help when we multiply these together. That's going to make these opposite operations. Then we're going to distribute. I know you're used to distribute over here, but on your papers, that number is so close it's hard to write a number in there, so you can put it on the other side. Same thing. We're going to go ahead and multiply. 6 times -3, -18x. 6 times 5, +30. Make sure you put your y on there. All right, somebody can help me out here. 6 times 28, 168. Anybody got their calculators out and going? Somebody do 6 times 28. Make sure I'm right. 5 times -2, -10x. All right, okay, good. 5 times -6 is -30y. This is our first checkpoint. There we're checking. They're opposites, so we're good. We did this correct. And then 5 times 28, that's 140, -140. Should be. I'll find out in a little bit. Our graphic organizer. We distributed. Now we're going to combine like terms. Add the x's together. -18 plus -10 is -28x. Our opposite operations are gone because we have a plus and a minus and they're both 30. 168 plus -140, we will come out with 28. And we did that correctly. So my math was right. And our final step is to go ahead and divide by 28. Our opposite operations, -28 divided by -28 is 1. 1 times x is just x. And over here, though, these are not opposite operations. This is 28 divided by -28, which is -1. So our first point, our x coordinate point, a part of that is -1. So what are we going to do? Rewrite the top equation. We're going to put parentheses for x because we are going to substitute it or replace it with what x is. And this is what x is. X is -1. 1 is x. So I can replace -1 with x and x with -1. What's the very first thing that we do? Distribute. -3 times -1 is just 3. We're going to do one step at a time each time we go through here. There's no extra variable. We got rid of the x. The x became that. Something added or subtracted to the y? Yes, there is. Oh, by the way, there's no combined like terms. So we have 5 times y. Well, it's the 3 that we need because it's 3 plus. If we cover up that 5, it's 3 plus y. You can see that. 3 plus y. So since it's +3, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides of the equation. Our opposite operations are gone. We're left with 5y. And then 28 minus 3 is 25. And the final step always, when we have this 5 times y, the opposite is to divide. When we times, our opposite operations are gone. We're left with y, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. There is our answer. That is where the two lines cross at -1, 5 on your graph coordinate plane. That on there? All right. I think we'll hit up Chris. Chris, what's the first thing we're going to put on there? Want Mary to do it? Mary, what's the first thing I need to put on there? Parentheses. Each and every time, guys. It's the process. Don't look at the numbers. Don't think about it. We got to put the parentheses on there. Mary, what are we going to do with the 5? Leave it? Yep. All right. Then, yep. It'll be positive 9. Perfect. 9 times 5, 45. Make sure you bring the X. 9 times 5, 45. Make sure you bring the Y. 9 times negative 10, negative 90. 5 times negative 8, negative 40 with an X. 5 times negative 9, negative 45 with a Y. There we go. It worked. And negative 5 times 26, that's 30, 130. What's the next step, Mary? And what do we call that? It's written up there. Number 2. Combine like terms. And we put a graphic organizer. 45 minus 40, or 45 plus negative 40, is 5x. Opposite operations are gone. Negative 90 plus 130 is 40. We'll divide by 5 is the last step. Our opposite operations are gone, or 5s. And 40 divided by 5 is 8. Yep, good. That's an awful big number. All right, so our first is 8. We're going to rewrite the top equation. Oh, I guess I could have asked you that, Mary, right? So what are we going to do with that top equation? Yep, so that's called substitution. We're going to put the 8 there. And then we distribute. 5 times 8, 40. Rewrite everything else. We cannot add these together. There's nothing to add together over there, so there's no combined like terms. There's no extra variable. There's only one y, so we don't skip that step. There is something added to the y, and it happens to be the 40. It's 40 plus. That's why we have to do that. So since that is a positive 40, we're going to subtract 40 from both sides of the equation. Our opposite operations are gone. We're left with 5y equals negative 10, negative 40 is negative 50. By the way, since I talk about this first checkpoint, this is the second checkpoint. If that doesn't turn out to be a whole number, you're more than likely not right. So when I go in here and I check, this is going to end up being a whole number as well. And divide by 5. Our 5s are gone. Y equals negative 10. I know some big numbers, but bigger numbers than we're used to. So you're going to put your parentheses, leave it, change it, make sure these are opposite operations when you distribute, add them together, the y's are going to disappear. Go ahead and divide, and as long as you have a whole number, your second checkpoint is good. Substitute, rewrite. I don't know, rewrite the top one. It's just easier to do. You could do the bottom one. You could do these big numbers too, but I wouldn't. Put the 8 in there. You're going to substitute. Go ahead and distribute. There's nothing else you can do. No combine like terms, no extra variables. Then you're going to add, subtract, and then divide by the number, and you should come out with a whole number. I'm going to do one more, and then you guys have the last 5 to do for homework. Notice I didn't give you a whole lot like I did last time, where we had to split it up. So I'm going to put down first, Chris. Can you show me with your hands? What are those things called? parentheses. What am I doing with the 6? What am I doing with the 9? Negative 9 on top, perfect. And then we're going to distribute. All right, negative 9 times negative 3 is 27x. Negative 9 times 6 is negative 54y. Negative 9 times 5, that's 45, 9, 3, negative 135. Somebody check that for me. 6 times negative 9, or sorry, 6 times negative 5 is negative 30 with an x. Negative 30? No, 35, right? Negative 135? No, negative 9 times 15. 6 times 9 is 54. And 6 times 25 should be 150. Yes? Okay, thank you. I do it in my head and I do it quick, so I want to make sure it's right. So we're going to combine like terms then. 27 and negative 30 is negative 3x. Opposite operations, our first checkpoint, right? A negative and a positive, same number. They're gone. That's why we call this elimination. We eliminated the y's. Negative 35 and 150, 15? 15. There's no extra variable, nothing added or subtracted to the x, so we're just going to go ahead into the dividing part. Anytime that you have a number attached, and that's all that's left, that's the last thing you're going to do. Our negative 3's are gone. We're left with x equals, and 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. This is a whole number. So first checkpoint, good. Second checkpoint, whole number, good. I'm not going to give you any decimals. I'm not saying, or fractions. Not saying that doesn't happen, because it does happen. But I'm not going to give you any. That you'll look at maybe in Algebra 2 if this crazy COVID stuff is done. All right, Chris, what do I got to do next? No. Look on your paper. What did I do after I rewrote it? What did I do? What did I do after I rewrote it? I substituted it. I took the x and I substituted the x because I found what x is. I need to find what y is. So I take that number that x is and I put it in right here for the x. Because the x is negative 5 is x, therefore you can replace the two. Distribute, negative 3 times negative 5 is 15, plus 6y equals 15. No extra variable, but we do have this plus 15 added to y, so we subtract 15. You notice that this is the same thing over and over again. If you keep the same pattern, you will get there. And that's okay, it's a 0 there because we divide by 6. It's still a viable option here. 0 divided by 6 is 0. So our answer is negative 5, 0. It's okay to have that. It's okay to have a 0 on top. Can't have a 0 on the bottom. Something went wrong if you got a 0 at the bottom. Well, you shouldn't have a 0 here anyway. It would eliminate. Follow the pattern. Follow the pattern. And it all goes with distribute, combine like terms, get rid of the extra variable, abstract, multiply, divide. Those are the things that we learned so heavily at the first half of the year, first semester. It's going to come back to haunt you. If you follow my steps, this is how easy that is. Continue down. If you run into an issue, your first checkpoint, then this is wrong. If you get here, if this is right, then either what you added is wrong here, or what you added wrong is here. Or you divided by the wrong number to get this wrong. All of them are going to be whole numbers, and I gave you an answer sheet, so you should know exactly what the answer is for that one. Then go in and sub it. If you get to the bottom and that's not the right number, something went wrong in your math in here. Don't do the whole thing and then check. Check here, check here, check there. All right, have a good Monday.